Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, the Force is with the readers, and we see one more weird Marvel UK story by Alan Moore in this episode. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler. The story we're looking at this time is Blind Fury. It was part of Star Wars Monthly, not the Empire Strikes Back Monthly because it had changed its name by this point, number 159 from July of 1982. It's found these days in the pages of Classic Star Wars Devil Worlds number 1 from 1996. You can also find it in the Wild Space Volume 1 Omnibus. But it's an unusual tale. It's by Alan Moore, and it delves back a little bit into the history of the Jedi, though only tangentially here. We start with Luke being attacked by various creatures. They refer to him as, see him, Luke Skywalker, the new boy, in hell. Though it kind of looks like one of them creatures there. This doggy one's kind of like, hey, baby. Doesn't really look like an angry, kind of vengeful, or I'm going to eat you look on his face, except maybe sort of a, hey, how you doing? Kind of caressing Luke thing, which might make it even more of a hell than it otherwise would have been. So Luke at this point is fighting creatures in the dark. Where did this come from? Well, it all started a short while earlier, where Luke was training with the remotes, and he sees he hears a distress call come in that simply refers to a tower and the planet Garn nearby. We should be knowing by now, as Akbar would say, it's a trap! Luke goes to find out what's going on, tries to save the woman whose voice he heard on the transmission, and gets set upon by creatures and traps once he is inside. As he's walking through, he finds these crystal things with the spirits of dead Jedi trapped inside. And we learn from this, in some backstory here, what exactly is going on. The voice, it turns out, is coming from the remains, this kind of machine with the remains in it, of Rur, High Shaman of the Terrible Glare. This guy inside this weird kind of a pyramid-type structure there. And it's kind of like he's playing on a recording type of thing here. It's a little bit odd the way that it happens to be set up. Basically, Rur's mind has been taken from his body and sort of encoded in the machines that are part of this pyramidal structure that he's in here. But Rur says and taunts, as Luke is walking through, "Welcome, Jedi!" Recognizing him by either the Force or the lightsaber or the fact that he was able to hear the distress call. "Welcome to the halls of your damnation. No doubt you recognize the pale squirmers who greeted you. No doubt you have guessed who is your host, Jedi. Many old friends await within." Luke has no idea what's going on. That's when he runs into the spirits of the long-dead Jedi Knights inside those crystals and whatnot. Luke finally reaches the door to the room where Rur is located, and Rur says, "You have reached the portal desolate, Jedi. I sense your despair at the sights you have seen, and at the dire memories thus awakened. Enter, step within and see the face of he who is your nemesis, your just accuser. Behold, Jedi! Behold the vengeful remains of Rur, High Shaman of the Terrible Glare." And Luke apparently has been doing some history lessons about the Jedi, and he's thinking to himself, the Terrible, of course. The Order of the Terrible Glare once fought a monstrous war with the Jedi Knights. Ben told me about it. Really? Ben told you about it? When exactly did he find time to do that? Was it on the Millennium Falcon as you were making your way toward what you thought was going to be Alderaan? When did he give you all this Jedi history? Or was it his spirit that told you? Or is this just kind of like what happened in Fate of the Jedi? Oh yeah, the ones? Mortis? Yeah, Yoda told me about them. I just didn't mention it to anybody ever until it came up in Fate of the Jedi. My ass you did, Luke. Don't just make stuff up and claim that it came from somebody else. You know what? You know how I am able to teach the history of the Roman Empire? The spirit of Julius Caesar appeared to me one night and told me all about it. Anyway. A little worked up. Just bizarre the way that they just had to cram stuff in here for Luke to somehow have learned. Anyway. He says, the Jedi won, of course. They wiped the Order out and laid waste to their homeworld Garn. This world. But that was thousands of years ago. He tells this spirit of Rur that this was thousands of years ago. That this wasn't months ago, as the recording type thing says, because time has no meaning for this computer system. Upon learning, though, that the Jedi are gone, there's no chance for revenge, the Empire wiped them out. It's been thousands of years. Rur or whatever passes for Rur at this point, cause the entire pyramid/temple thing to disintegrate. It falls around and Luke just barely gets out, Indiana Jones style, in time. So, it's a little odd. Gives a little bit of background on the Jedi, though not much, but gives us something where Luke is being persecuted because of the actions of his forebears within the Jedi Order. Something that we will wind up seeing a little bit more in the overall EU grand scheme of things here. An interesting tale, little bit weird, and that whole Ben reference thing still annoys the crap out of me, just like it does with Yoda in Fate of the Jedi. But the question we need to ask is this story, Blind Fury, an essential read? No. It's not. It tells us nothing that we really need to know, gives us no events we need to see. It is an interesting tale by Alan Moore if you are into that sort of weird, twisted version of Star Wars that you can find in some of the UK stuff from this era or in Devil Worlds, an aptly named series. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the readers.